Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So how did this all start for you?
This started. I was in the editing process of the Veronica Mars movie, and Susan Robner, the head of Warner Brothers Development, came to me with the comic book and kind of handed it to me and said, "This is the next great CW female lead. We want the new Buffy, the new Veronica, and we want you to write it." And I told her no, and it wasn't because I didn't want this comic book or that I didn't like zombies. It was that I was overworked at the time. I had 2 pilots that I had already sold, and I was still finishing the movie, and I did not think I had the time, and she would not take no for an answer, and she's one of my favorite executives in town and one who I really trust. And after trying to say no multiple times, I finally, the path of least resistance became to say yes to it. And I've worked with Warner Brothers a lot and like them over there, and I trust her taste. And I had tried to do a zombie show before. I had spent a couple months developing a zombie apocalypse pitch. And I was ready to take it out. We had pitch meetings set, and I opened Variety, and there's Frank Darabont sells Walking Dead to AMC, and it just killed me. And I read the concept of it, and it was what I had developed. So I had been interested in zombies before, and that would have been a more traditional zombie apocalypse, many zombies flying at you to get your... as opposed to the take that we have now, which is, I think, closer to something like Warm Bodies. We have a zombie lead who we want you to fall in love with, which is a far cry from what they're doing at Walking Dead.
So the main character's turned into a zombie, and I guess the typical zombie we think of is decayed, but she's not like that in the show. Is there a process that she's moving towards?
Yeah, the idea that we're going to play, and by episode 3 you will have seen this, not with our character, but you'll see an example of this. If they do not eat brains, they do start to fall apart rather quickly, and so we'll meet a zombie. In the writer's room, we refer to them as Romeros. We have Freshies and Romeros, and they also they can tap into this sort of rage well. Also, these our Liv character, the pilot, has a moment where she becomes adrenalized, and I hate referencing a Marvel comic when I'm doing a DC show, but it's sort of triggered in the same way as Bruce Banner turning into Hulk. Like, she doesn't have complete control over that. She becomes too adrenalized, too worked up, and she sort of goes into what we are calling rage mode.
What other sort of zombie lore have you taken and twisted?
Well, the way we're playing it is not only does she get flashes of memory from the brains that she eats, and these memories will not be like, oh, that day I walked out and got a newspaper and came back. The flashes she will get will be like high intensity moments. So she'll get those flashes of memories of people whose brains she eats, and those have to be triggered by something very specific. Like the sound of a police siren might trigger one, or she sees something that the person whose brain she ate saw at the same time that can trigger it. So they all need those triggers. Additionally, she will inherit some of the traits, be they good or bad, from the people whose brains she ate. So, in episode 3, she eats the brains of a sociopath, and she takes on some sociopathic tendencies in that episode. But she can, but she might also get kung fu if she, like we have that line, the Matrix line. She eats a brain and suddenly it's, I know kung fu. So I think in a typical episode, she'll usually get something that it works to her advantage and something that works to her disadvantage.
Can you talk about finding the lead for the series? What was it about Rose that made you go, this is the girl?
Well, it's ineffable in some ways. Like you hear her deliver the lines and you see some star quality. You know, you see somebody that you think the audience will fall in love with. It's someone who you feel like you can't take your eyes off of. As a writer, you always want to have somebody who make your words sound good, and particularly with Diane and I write wordy characters. We tend to throw a lot of dialogue in people's mouths, and they have to have a facility with that. But I would say it's you know you're going to cast a lead in a show. They have to go in front of a room full of network and studio executives and shine. And it's funny, I said in today's session, I probably saw 100 actresses for Veronica Mars, and Kristen was the first one in the door. And with iZombie, Rose was literally the last person, and we were in pretty near panic mode at that time. And yeah, she was a godsend at the right moment.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.